Hi, Morgan, and welcome back. It's really good to see you again. How are you?
Thanks. I'm all right. It's good to see you again, too.
Yeah, so why don't we just kind of follow up with our meeting last week? We talked a little bit about your position at work and a new coworker that you had. Do you want to maybe expand a little bit more on that topic?
So yeah, so I've been teaching at my current school for I'm in my sixth year now,
Okay.
and I have a coworker. She was hired to teach first grade a few years ago, and I was actually really excited when I saw her name on the list for new hirees. I didn't know her personally, but I recognized the last name because she's the daughter of one of my dad's really good friends.
Mm.
So when I found out she was hired, since my dad is such good friends with Patty's dad, that's her name, Patty, I thought it would be natural to just become friends with Patty. And how cool would it be that we work together too?
Mm. Okay, so it sounds like, you were really excited about this new relationship because it would, maybe get your families closer together.
hmm
Okay. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, it didn't go as I planned, I guess. We got together to walk our dogs a few times. Her dog didn't really seem to like my dog, so we kind of got away from that and tried to do other things. We would talk to each other on the phone and text periodically, but our interests just seemed a bit different.
Okay. Can you kind of expand a little bit more about what you mean when you say your interests were a bit different?
Sure. I invited her to a yoga class several times because that was something that I was really interested in at the time.
Mhm.
But she said she didn't like group exercise classes, so I moved on from that. She wanted to go paddle boarding or go to meetups at the beach, but I didn't really feel like those were my things. So after a few multiple failed attempts of inviting each other and the other person turning the person down, we just kind of stopped trying to hang out away from work. And as more time passed at work, it almost seems like we've formed some sort of rivalry now on campus, which isn't good.
Hmm. Can you tell me what you mean by rivalry? Explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, so she's a classroom teacher and I'm a special area teacher, which means I teach a special subject. I teach Spanish. So I teach her first graders several times a week, but it always seems to be on her terms, even though there is a set schedule. Um, and I feel a bit disrespected by her. So sometimes she drops her students off while I'm still eating lunch during my planning period, and she doesn't even peek into my classroom door to see if I'm ready. The door just opens and in comes the kids. So I've kind of learned to anticipate that now. When I know it's 5 minutes before her class coming, I just kind of stop eating lunch. But there was one situation in particular recently where I really felt inferior to her at work, and it upset me.
Hmm. Do you want to maybe explain that situation a little bit more?
Sure. So we were doing a fundraiser at school, and there was a pep rally scheduled during the time that I was supposed to be teaching Spanish to her first grade class. The administration had explained that the classroom teachers would take the students to the pep rally. So that meant that I had um, a little, not free time, but I wasn't to be teaching her students during the pep rally. And I scheduled a meeting with a different coworker during that time to plan a different activity. So I was walking back to my classroom from the workroom, and I found Patty's class standing outside of my door, and she just tried to hand them off to me. Um, I looked at her a bit confused, and she boldly informed me that I was to take her class to the pep rally. Um, so I reminded her that administration had said that it was the classroom teacher's responsibility, and because of that, I had made other arrangements at that time, and I wouldn't be able to accompany her class. So she gave me this remark, and it just really upset me. She said, like, it would be nice if teachers like you would inform us that you are, when you are or are not willing to help the classroom teachers. And I knew it was not my job to help her by taking her class, but I kind of felt defenseless in the situation because there was a class of, 18 first grade students observing this exchange, and I felt very uncomfortable.
So just to make sure, I'm understanding you correctly, I'm just gonna kind of tell the story back to you, and you just tell me if I'm on the right track. So it sounds like, you and Patty have tried to meet up on multiple occasions, but it just never really worked out. Um, and this particular situation that you're referring to, you had a plan, you were going to go to a pep rally, and then all of a sudden you see these kids outside your classroom, and you're not really sure how to handle it. You're a little bit confused, and you try politely to let her know, I don't really want to take your children to the pep rally because that is kind of your responsibility. Does that sound about right?
That's correct. Yes, I felt like she was trying to pass her job off to me, and I didn't want to be told what to do, but I also wanted to be polite and a good team player. So, yeah, that's correct.
So it sounds like you're feeling a bit frustrated.
Definitely.
Mm. Can we kind of expand a little bit more about Patty's reaction? I know you explained that you tried very hard to kind of explain the situation. How did that end up playing out?
Yeah, she was just in a hurry and just seemed annoyed by the fact that I didn't want to help her as she described. And she has, since she teaches the little ones, the first graders, she has her own assistant.
Mm.
And I think I mentioned, could your assistant possibly um, take your students to the pep rally if you're not able to? And she snapped at one of her students and said, so and so, go get Mrs. So and so, and because she's going to have to take you to the pep rally because Miss Hill isn't going to. And I just felt sad and embarrassed, and also like I wasn't maybe doing it. It made me question if I was doing the right thing by trying to stand up for myself, by suggesting to have her assistant accompany her class.
Mm. So it sounds like maybe you're feeling a bit torn. You're feeling torn because, you wanted to stand up for yourself, but in the end you did it and you ended up, letting Patty get her way, and maybe you're a little bit aggravated about that. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I'm definitely aggravated, and I think I'm frustrated with myself. So I think torn is a good term. I was upset about the confrontation, and even though I knew it wasn't my responsibility, just her reaction to having to sending her student to get her assistant, it made me feel pressured, and I did it anyways. And I fought
Yeah.
back the tears that I felt, and I did what I didn't feel like I needed to do, but felt pressured to do
Hmm.
at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like, it can be pretty difficult to have to go through that in your workplace and in a place where, you will likely have to see this person again, and you don't want to cause any confrontation, that
Right.
could last a long period of time. So it looks like we are running out of time. I just kind of want to follow up with you and see if there's anything else you kind of want to talk about before we close the session for today.
No, I think I'm feeling a little bit better after sharing the recent confrontation with Patty with you. But maybe next week we could talk about how things have gone at work since the confrontation and what it's like seeing her in passing, and if things have changed or what takes place, because I'm not sure what to expect in the week coming.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great. So just to kind of reflect on the session that we've had today, let's just kind of summarize some of the big points. So a new coworker came to your school. You were very excited about it, and then it kind of didn't turn out the way you planned. And not only did it not turn out the way you planned, it also kind of turned into a bit of a confrontation that made you a little bit uncomfortable and maybe pushed you out of your comfort zone a little bit. I think this will be, a great topic to come back to next week. Um, if you have anything in the meantime, please let me know. But other than that, I will see you next time.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.